Hi, I'm Sandy Heldsinger and I'm a co-founder of Brightpath. I originally trained as a secondary English teacher, but very early on was fascinated by assessment. It sounds strange to be interested in assessment, but when you work with teachers you find we all are. We love looking at students' work, we love trying to work out what it's telling us about what they can do, what they can't do. How can we really tap into finding out where they are in their learning and how we need to teach them. Writing assessment has been in the hard basket, but the methodology that we've devised allows schools to immediately get data that they would normally get from standardized testing programs from their teachers. Right back in the beginning, when Steve and I were looking after the state testing program, what we were doing is really looking very closely at rubrics. Anybody who's come through education in the last 20 years will have at some stage been assessed using a rubric. We kept trying to identify why we were getting this clumping on score points. If it was hard for us to get a good rubric working in a standardized testing program, we knew that it was going to be almost impossible to ever get rubrics working really well in classroom settings. We had this other body of research that said, hold on, teachers are really good at doing pairwise comparisons. And so it was that work that we then started to explore further and looked at it for about 10 years. We researched it in early childhood through to tertiary studies. We explored it in things like violin playing, sport. Whichever way we looked at it, this method of pairwise comparisons worked really well. So the way we started to explore it was to use pairwise comparisons to devise a central scale and then provide that central scale to teachers, and it's that work that's really led to Brightpath. Brightpath is a really elegant solution to assessing writing. It's about comparing your students' work to a set of exemplars. You're looking at them, analysing the strengths and weaknesses in your students' work, understanding the strengths and weaknesses in the exemplar, and then deciding relative to the exemplar where you'd place your students on the scale. And that gives you immediately moderated judgments. So you know that a score of 300 from one teacher means the same as a score of 300 from another teacher. We overcome an important limitation of programs like NAPLAN, and that's the delay in the data coming back. So as soon as teachers have completed their assessments, they immediately get data that they can use to determine what they need to be teaching their students. They can use it for their planning tomorrow. Students can see where they are in their learning, they can identify their own strengths and weaknesses, and they can have agency over what they need to practice and master in order to improve their writing. Within Brightpath, we do have an AI component, and this has been really important. We know that assessing writing is time consuming, and the program does a first pass and provides a predicted score for teachers. What is so important about the way that we're using AI is we're using AI to support teachers, not to replace their professional judgment. Whilst it's software, it's not something that you're just putting kids in front of and it's spitting out some data. Brightpath requires the teachers to be involved in the assessments. That's where the important stuff happens. It's so important that teachers are reading and assessing their students' work, and we're supporting them to do it well. It saves so much time, and it becomes such a valuable tool for the whole school that just hits the mark in so many ways. I think writing is one of the most important aspects of the curriculum, and it's been hard to assess. Because there's this requirement to be collecting data, they've kind of gone towards the standardized or the quick testing. And to the detriment, we've lost sight of the importance of teaching writing. Now that we've been collecting data from over 800 schools, we can see that Brightpath is making a difference. There's just more explicit teaching of writing, and that just makes my heart sing because we've made a difference in education. Brightpath is a tool for teachers. It helps them do what they're wanting to do. They're all wanting to teach well, and Brightpath helps teachers with that.